Hello, hey, hi, everyone. Anthony Fantano here, internet's busiest music nerd. I hope you're doing well, and it's time for our weekly track roundup, where I go over what I felt were the worst and best tracks of the week. They're all linked down below, like usual, so you can check them all out for yourself and come to your own conclusions. The tracks that I thought were worst, best, and meh this week are listed as follows. But first, our Turntable Lab link is down there. Our Patreon link is down there in the description box as well. We get kickback from the Turntable Lab link. Hell yes. So if you get yourself some music over there, and that is how far back my thumb goes, that's great. Also, our Patreon page, if you want to support us and get some extra bonus monthly content, along with access to our Discord, that would be amazing too. And a few shout-outs in this video that have been past musical shout-outs, passed from Austin to me to give to you. First off, we have Okkyung Lee's Another Old Story. Apparently this is a highlight from her debut album with her new quartet. Some very nice chamber music with an improvisational flair. And also we're going to give a shout-out to this live set on NTS from Echo 2K and Blade. Drain Gang comes through with a great live show for NTS Radio, again, according to Austin. And also want to give people a warning here because there are like some flashing lights in this video. So those of you who have issues with those sorts of visuals, keep in mind, okay? Just a bit of a warning there with that. All right, worst tracks this week. Worst tracks this week. What are they? We have a handful. One, Good Intentions, new project from Nav. We have a song from it titled Status, featuring Lil Uzi Vert. And I'm saying nothing about it. I'm saying nothing about it whatsoever. It's in the worst section. That's all you need to know right now because I am reviewing Good Intentions very soon. All thoughts on this track and others will be said in that video. So sorry. You can't know right now. It's a secret. Okay? Okay. All right, Migos, Taco Tuesday, a new single from the trio, and it's easily one of their worst songs ever. Corny lyrics, generic beat, just really dumb all around. I'm surprised, am I wrong? Is this not a Taco Bell ad? Because if it's not, this should be a fucking Taco Bell ad. Like, I'm surprised they would release a track this embarrassing without it being like an advertisement tie-in for something. Maybe it is, and I'm not noticing. But this should definitely be like, you know, Tostitos salsa or something. It should be an ad for something. It just sounds like Migos doing a commercial, but they're willingly releasing this as like, hey, this is like the best music we can make right now. It's trash. All right, moving on from there. Kalani, Can I, featuring Tory Lanez. I know a lot of people are kind of hyping up her new project over here, but I'm just finding many tracks, including this one, to be so bland, so sleepy, so forgettable. Vocal performances like way below the threshold of engaging. I'm not even finding anything remotely enticing or sexy about it either. I just don't really get it. It's very sleepy, comatose. I guess what passes for R&B right now. Yeah, I can't really say much about it, frankly. Moving on from there, we also have this track from Chris Brown and Young Thug, Go Crazy. They just dropped this new project, Slime and B, and I am not really seeing the appeal of it, frankly. I mean, some of Thugger's vocal performances are pretty good, but I just don't think he sounds all that great, or at least he is not complimented within this overly squeaky clean, super pristine, I guess, backdrop that you usually get on a Chris Brown album. It seems like Thugger was kind of moving more toward Chris Brown's sound than vice versa, at least on a great deal of the tracks here. And yeah, it just seemed like overproduced to me. You know, just a little soulless, a little too, I guess, sanitary, I guess. And what I love so much about Thugger's music and his sound a lot of the time when he does come through with a great project, because I'm still talking about it. I like how wild and out of control it feels. And this just came off too measured to me, you know, just too predictable, too bland. But that's how Chris Brown's music usually runs. All right, let's get into the meh section. Tracks that I was not blown away by, but certainly wanted to talk about or point in your direction. We have a new track from Woods over here, Can't Get Out, which I guess is a fitting title for these times that we live in currently. And kind of a surprising track from Woods as... I don't know, it felt like a bit of like an 80s track. There's something about it that felt like a little new wave era or something. Some beautiful glistening tones cascading over each other on the chorus. Again, not quite as weird or folky as Woods' music usually is. And even when they have drifted away from that stuff in the past, it at least still felt a little bit within the band's wheelhouse, or like they're not moving too far away from their typical sound, but this just felt like a big change of pace, and not really in a bad way. I will say the verses are kind of underwhelming, but the hook is spot on. Moving on from there, Fire Tools, a music project I want to give a big shout out to over here, as I ignorantly just sort of came upon Fire Tools recently, even though Fire Tools has kind of been a thing for a little bit, apparently. But still, what I am digging on some of the tracks from this new project, specifically this song over here, It's Now Safe to Turn Off Your Computer, is that it's a really odd and experimental combination of like black metal and industrial and vaporwave. I mean, I'm not crazy about every piece of it that I'm hearing, but it is a really unique combination of sounds and styles coming together more cohesively than I think they would on paper, just thinking about such a thing conceptually. Moving on from there, we have another track from Mike Skinner, a.k.a. The Streets, Where the Fuck Did April Go? I'm digging this more than some of the other Streets stuff that has been coming out as of late. Still a little underwhelming, not a lot of bite to it, but what's funny about that is that this is one of the least hip-hop songs to drop from the Streets in this current run of, like, you know, singles and teaser tracks and stuff. This almost like borders on spoken word, like over a dance beat a lot of the time. A lot of sung vocals too. It's not too bad. You know, I think there are elements where the vocals could have gone a bit harder, where the instrumental could be a bit more lush and a bit more, I guess, dramatic to really sort of emphasize the singing and emphasize the storyline of the track. But still, you know, it's I guess I will keep tabs on what Mike continues to drop under the name The Streets, because you know, it's still an event for him to be making music again in such a big way. All right, Little Big have come through with a new single, Hypno Dancer. I think after the blow up of their last dance craze, the outfit is trying at that one more time. With this little hip jig that's kind of cute, I guess. The song itself is a nice blend of house and pop and Eurodance, but not one of their catchy and more eccentric songs for sure. The dance itself is okay, I guess. Don't know if this one's going to be quite as much a craze as the last one, but I guess we will see. All right, moving on from there, we have Justin Bieber and Ariana Grande teaming up on a somewhat bland track. Ariana's vocals, I think, are pretty good, but the song and instrumental itself is pretty trite at this point. Like, we've heard this song before, and Justin Bieber adds virtually nothing to it, so I don't know. It's well-intentioned, and you know, I guess we need songs like this, at least some people do, at this point in time, but this is... could have been better. Could have been a lot better. All right, we also have Jehnny Beth of Savage's fame coming through on a new track over here, Heroine. Love her vocal performance on this track, but I'm just not really seeing what's so exciting about the instrumental. Not that she needs to be doing her thing over this very fiery, wild, reverb-heavy punk rock and post-punk, but there's just not a whole lot of bite. Beyond the drums on this track. The drums are pretty good, but everything on top of them is just like really falling flat and not that intriguing. Whatever's going on, it needs to have a bit more punch to it. Doesn't have to be guitars, doesn't have to be noise or anything like that, but geez, like, get something else besides the layers of whatever you have going on here, because it is bland. We also have Joe Goddard working with Hayden Thorpe of Wild Beasts fame on this sweet little piece of dance pop, unknown song. I think it does drag on for a bit, or at least it lacks enough variation to make the final leg of the track interesting. But it's got a good groove to it, and Hayden I didn't necessarily think would vocally work too well in this sort of context, and yet he does. So shout out to this song, and Joe and Hayden. We also have Bob Dylan coming through. False Prophet, new song, new single. While I'm not crazy about the quality of the vocal performance, I do like how dramatic the song is, and I do like this is one of Bob's darker songs in a while. So it's a little gruff. It's a little nasty. It's a little bit of a reflection in the dark, grifty type of paradigm we live in currently. So I don't know. Give it a shot. Give it a try. We also have Denzel Curry over here. Shout out to him, who has dropped this little freestyle over here with 2 verses on it. Him and Tommy Swisher on the track. Cool soul sample and beat. I'm just saying, though, and it's got a lot of motivational, inspirational lyrics in it. Not too bad. Not too bad at all. We have also over here a new track, a new single from Charli XCX, as we are on the cusp of her releasing her new quarantine record. I Finally Understand is the song. It's easily the most low-key track of this teaser cycle thus far. I can see myself digging on this a bit more in the context of the record, and it may be growing on me with some more listens, but I will say as a single with a first impression, where first impressions really matter, it did not hit all that hard. I'll say that. Moving on from there, we also have Bad Bunny over here, who has dropped a surprise record out of the blue. Don't know if this was always intended, or if this is sort of like a reaction to the current, situation we're all in the midst of. But Bendiciones, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, is the name of this one. And it's not as creative sonically and instrumentally as a lot of the tracks off of his last LP. Vocally, it's pretty strong, I suppose, but the song isn't really there. The instrumental's not really there. I'll maybe dig into more tracks from this, but just as a taster, this is kind of so-so. Feels like almost going back to his breakout record in a way where things are just a little bit too stripped back. All right, we also have over here a couple of new tracks from Brockhampton. We have NST, and also the song, what's the track? Things Can't Stay the Same. And pretty much 2 Lucy type tracks from Brockhampton without the best production quality and the most members involved and everything, but still some interesting ideas flowing throughout these tracks. I'll say that neither of them are terrible, and they both certainly say to me, okay, so Brockhampton still has some banger type ideas, left in the tank, and maybe what they're kind of signaling with these 2 tracks is hey, we're gonna go a little bit harder in the future, stay creative, try some new stuff, try some different stuff. Here's some samples. Here's some G-funk. Here's some southern DJ screw type fusion shit. It's all over the place, and certainly, again, intriguing. So a shout out to Brockhampton for holding us over and keeping things interesting with these 2 tracks, even if they're not the best songs I've ever heard from the group or anything like that. Also did a full-length review of these tracks over on the Fantano channel too. Feel free to check those out. All right, we also have a track over here from none other than Alex Cameron. It is a Paul Kelly cover of the song Before Too Long. It drags on a bit, and I think the instrumental could have used a bit more variation, or at least taken some more liberties with the track. But I don't know. It's not bad. It's not bad. I guess I'll say what about this cover that struck me was I could see how a song like this with a narrative like this would matter so much to Alex Cameron, because he writes in a very similar fashion as far as what he enters a track wanting to say, wanting to message to the listener, how to deliver a narrative to the listener. I could see how an artist like Paul Kelly would be a big influence on him. All right, we also have Gooba, the new track from 6IX9INE. Did a review over this on the Fantano channel, and it's okay. It's okay. It's got some decent moments. That junkyard dog scream your brains out type of delivery. It's still there. It's still pretty hard hitting. It's like 6IX9INE hasn't skipped a beat, missed a step. It's like he wasn't even gone. I think the track could have gone harder instrumentally, and there are some portions where he is trying to really rap straight that are pretty underwhelming and boring. And the message, or rather the tone of the song, doesn't really amount to much more than the type of shit he usually raps about, combined with "Nya, nya, 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 I'm out of jail, all your haters, blah, 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 blah." So, I don't know. If you really want to subject yourself to that, go for it. But I'm not here to be trolled, you know, so I'm not here to be trolled. All right, best tracks, the best ones that stuck with me this week. Let's go. Bam. Willie Nelson. We have a track over here that is a Jonny Paycheck cover of "I'm the Only Hell My Mama Ever Raised." It's a pretty low-key country ballad, at least the way Willie delivers it, his rendition over here. And, you know, it's just a nice Mother's Day drop, you know. So if you're looking for that extra little, you know, last Mother's Day thing to throw in, or belated, you know, "Hey, Mom, sorry I didn't call you. Here's a cool song. Check it out. Mom, love you." If you're looking for that kind of thing, you know, maybe this is your song. Maybe this is your YouTube link. We also have over here a new track from Weezer, "Hero." Reviewed it over on the Fantano channel too. Thought it was pretty good. Solid hook, little guitar heroism, cool power pop vibes as well. Weezer is sounding solid so far for this ridiculous fucking looking album that should be dropping at some point this year. All right, we also have a new track from slowthai, "Enemy." It's a banger. He's back with a banger. And just good flows, great energy, references to that terrible award show debacle that he was involved in a little while back. Yeah, but still, I'm loving the vibe. I'm loving the energy. slowthai sounding as mean as ever. We also have Sleaford Mods over here on the cusp of dropping a compilation of tracks to span back to the earlier points of last decade. "Second" is the name of the song, and it sounds kind of like, yeah, you know, your classic super minimal driving post-punky, very verbose Sleaford Mods, you know, just like the older shit. "Second!" Digging it, loving it. Also over here, want to give a shout out to this dude, because I sort of came across his music on Twitter and dug it quite a bit, at least what I have heard of it over there. Tried a little bit more on some of the streaming platforms, and thought the rest of the record, "Child," that he has out was just okay, but this song over here really stood out to me, "All My Dogs." And it's sort of a lazy day, sort of dejected, little bit King Cruel-ish, little bit Mac DeMarco-ish type of ballad. And I don't mean those comparisons in a mean way or anything, not to write the kid off or anything, but at this very, very early stage of his career, where he is fusing those sounds with maybe like a little bit of like some hip hop production influences, at least like on the beat side and everything, because, you know, there are some sequence rhythms in there that add a bit more punch to that type of balladry on this song. And yeah, so some of the lingo he works into the lyrics too, I think, you know, is at least a nod to that genre as well. It's a cool amalgamation of sounds, but ultimately is like, you know, very much a ballad. And you know, some cool dejected vocals. It's a little weary. It's young and weary, and kind of digging that vibe. So All My Dogs, check it out, because I think kid has potential. All right, moving on from there, producer Preservation working with Navy Blue on this new song over here, which is titled North Bridge. And what struck me about the track is that it sounds a lot like Ka. Of course, then I wasn't surprised to sort of remind myself that Preservation has worked with Ka. So, you know, if you've dug on Navy Blue, especially when he recently worked with Earl, because he has that Some Rap Songs track, and you want to hear him over a beat with a very sparse, you know, skeletal sort of delivery and build that is of like a Ka song, then I guess give this a try. Shout out to everyone. Earl, Navy Blue, Preservation, Ka. Shout out to everybody. Moving on from there, Lydia Ainsworth, whose work previously I was not really all that familiar with, but I am liking this track over here, Forever. It is a nice, solid, lush, and detailed piece of chamber pop with a lot of personality to it. Lovely to listen to. Lianne Havas has come through with a new track, Paper Thin. It's super low-key. Guitar, vocals, not like super rich or lush or layered production or anything like that. But if you know Lianne and you know her music and you know her fantastic voice, she does not need much more. Presuming here that we are being teased, to expect some new music, some new something down the pipe. I hope so. Maybe she's just holding people over during this time where everyone's stressed and wanting music and all that. But what would be nicer right now than some new Lianne Havas? I don't know, because she's always dropping some quality shit. All right, we also have Kim Petras over here, Malibu, new single, which is a super punchy, catchy, tight, and rhythmic new pop single that has a strong Michael Jackson vibe coming through on some of the grooves and some of the vocal lines too. Pretty impressed that Kim could pull off such a style, with so much grace and so much, faithfulness toward MJ's sound. So digging it, liking it a lot. We have also over here Jonny Pierce and the drums coming through with like a guided meditation piece. It's pretty lengthy, but it's also very fun and tasteful and engaging and interesting. Maybe, in these troubled times at the moment, this is exactly not the type of thing that you need. And this isn't necessarily my vibe all the time either. But I don't know. I found it intriguing. I found it creative. I found it refreshing and regenerative mentally and emotionally. So I don't know. Give it a shot. It's a little guided meditation, I suppose. It's a guided meditation. We have also here Jessie Ware, Save a Kiss, which is a cool little single where she comes through with a very grand chorus on this one. I'm loving the rush of vocals on this hook and digging this track almost as much as the last teaser too. It's been a while since I've really looked forward to a Jessie Ware project, and I would say I'm getting to that point again. I'm getting there again. We have also over here Fontaines DC, who I loved some of the teasers to their last record, was not really crazy about the quality of the album once I heard the entire thing, but I am being hooked in once again with this new single, A Hero's Death, which is a very cool, verbose piece of post-punk with an interesting music video attached to it too. But I don't know. I guess we'll see. I'm liking the band's sound on this one. I'm liking the energy. I'm liking the lyrics as well. Remains to be seen if I end up being blown away by deeper cuts on a new record or anything like that. But I'm still fucking with what the band is doing here and there, and this is certainly an instance of that. We have also over here Dirty Projectors, who, from what I understand now, are planning on dropping more fire EPs. I did a review of their last EP over on the Fantano channel. Loved it. Fantastic EP. And now they are dropping more music with, again, more EPs on the way. Lose Your Love is the name of this new one, and it's got a great beat behind it, some awesome vocal layers. It's super poppy, super catchy. Not quite as folky as the stuff from the last project. Wondering if we're going to see more grooves and just more strong hooks on this new one. It would be interesting if every EP had like a different flavor to it. And I don't know, just liking the direction of this new track, liking the sassy, kind of fun, tongue-in-cheek little music video as well. And just digging it, loving it, digging it. We have also over here Christine and the Queens coming through the Neil Young cover with some great vocal work, some great vocal layering as well. Maybe not as dramatic as the last cover that I have covered from Christine and the Queens, but this one certainly is up there. Again, the vocals are super impressive on this one. Give it a try. And also, shout out to Bibio, who I'm not always a fan of Bibio's stuff, but every once in a while, Bibio drops a fantastic little folk banger. And this one in particular is very, very, very beautifully arranged instrumentally. Sleep on the Wing is the title of this one, and it's quite lovely. It is very lovely. It's a lovely song, compositionally, and just in terms of just the arrangements worked into it too. So give it a shot. Also want to give a shout out to XIBALBA on this one, who are coming through with a new track, Años en Infierno. Años en Infierno. Años en Infierno. Sorry. Espanol is not, my forte. Blah, blah, blah. But anyway, this song is crushing. It is heavy as shit. It'll just smash your skull in. It's You know, it's got some metalcore vibes. It's but yeah, it's so heavy and crushing. It's, you know, it's got like the girth of a doom song. You know what I mean? Just visceral vocals, visceral everything. Ugh. I felt like as far as the band's sound, the wind was taken out of their sails a little bit with their last LP. And while this new song over here is not quite as droney as like the album of theirs that I really kind of fell in love with and really sort of turned me onto their stuff, I am liking kind of the intensity being upped a little bit on this new track over here. So give it a try. Give it a shot. It is badass. And that has been the weekly track roundup, everyone. Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you got some good recommendations out of this video. And yeah, let me know if you love me, and just chill, just hang out, just wait for the next video, the next review to come out. It will soon. And yeah, I'll see you guys very soon on the YouTube channel, because you know, we're here every day, doing our thing here every day, pretty much every day. All right, I'll see you soon. Bye-bye. Love you.